Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Korner Booth Podcast. I am your host, Jared Klim, alongside my co-host, Matt Ordazzo, who'll be here shortly. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of text messages in right now. Obviously, it is my 30th birthday today. I am old, officially. Shout out to my neighbors for this amazing sweatshirt. I love it. It's great. Also had to wear the green because today's obviously St. Patrick's Day. So happy St. Patty's Day to those who celebrate. It's Paddies, not Patties. Just get that out there. Would like to say it's been a great time. Thank you to Howie Roseman also for making 2 moves today that make me happy as an Eagles fan. So extending Lane Johnson for 1 year and Azeez Ojulari getting picked up as a rotational edge rusher for the Eagles. Big fan of his game. So definitely, he's a member of Team 5-1. Unfortunately, we already have one in Cam Jurgens, my dog. So he's gonna have to switch his number up. But we'll talk about that. We're talking about NFL draft stuff today. Of course, we are live on X as well as Instagram. So it's going to be a good time today. For those of you wondering, this will obviously be up on replay on YouTube on Monday. My lighting is so weird down here. Anywho, so without further ado, here's my co-host, Mr. Matt Ordazzo. Matty, what's going on, dog?
What's going on, guys? Happy birthday, Jared. Happy St. Patrick's Day as well for all who celebrate. I am not Irish, but I will. Well, I'm sorry. So my defense, this was supposed to be an apple martini because it's green. But I didn't have a cherry, so I used grenadine. But as you could see, probably a little too much grenadine. But it is a little green, so, you know.
There you go. This problem is I was just outside smoking a mini cigar because I have like 4 packages left over for my surprise birthday party. I want to give a shout out to my family and friends, the ones who are actually able to make it this week. I have amazing friends like Matt and my boy Ryan and their families, everything else. They weren't able to make it, unfortunately, because, of course, you know, my parents couldn't get a hold of everyone. But I had like 60 people show up at my house, completely surprised, had no idea. Amazing food, amazing beer, cigars, bonfire. My dad set up a cowboy grill, grilling up kielbasa because, you know, it's a Polak thing. So I'm very blessed and I'm very appreciative of all my friends and family. So I want to give them a little shout out. Yeah, I am. It's been a fun weekend.
Yeah, that's why when you were talking about on last show, when I said I don't know if I can make it this weekend, you were like, "Oh no, next weekend." I was like, "Ooh, almost," because your mom reached out to me, and I was it was the same day as mine and Bianca's niece's birthday. It was her 18th birthday, so we couldn't make it. But I was like, "Ooh, next weekend." Oh yeah, you're right. I'll see what I can do.
Oh, but God, that's so funny. I'll have to tell my mom that after I get off. She's gonna laugh about it.
I was like, "Oh, almost messed it up."
She might give you a little crap next week when you come up, but it's all good.
Yeah. We got to talk off air about that, find out the times and stuff. I should be.
Yeah, it should be good.
All right.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Hey, my producer is Nate is on in the background. Nate, what's up, bud?
Hi! Happy birthday, boss!
Thanks, buddy. I sent me a very, very heartfelt happy birthday around noon today while I was working. I was like, "Oh, buddy, you're gonna make me tear up in the middle of lifting."
All love to you, boss. You know, always grateful for you, and yeah, man, hope your day goes well. And you know, whenever your party is this weekend, right? Or was it last weekend?
Yeah, well, no. So the surprise party was last weekend. And then because I felt so bad that all my friends who couldn't make it were all like, "Dude, you told us next weekend and we didn't find out till too late." I was like, it's my own fault they couldn't make it. So I'm throwing a thank you for being my amazing friends bonfire. And basically I'm cooking for all of them because I love cooking for my friends. So barbecue, chicken, pasta, the whole 9 yards anyway. So cigars for the guys and girls who want to participate. So, yeah, no, I'll do that. That'll be for them as a thank you. A lot of my close friends are coming back because they're like, "Oh, excuse to go to bonfires back-to-back weekends." All right. So,
cool Nate, beans.
Nate, this is a programming thing. Can you post the Instagram and X links in our Slack chat so the rest of Belly Up can join us?
Sir, yes, sir.
And you have my permission to post at channel.
Appreciate that.
Yep, as I almost knocked over the beer glass that I may or may not have lifted from a brewery.
Also, hi, Matt. I hope you're doing well, sir.
I am doing great, buddy. Hey, listen, enjoy yourself. I know you got to go back there because I know you're working double right now, but I appreciate you. So thank you, buddy.
Oh, question. Yes, before I go, I'll also drop in here and there. As you guys know, Belly Up has their fantasy baseball league today, and I have the first pick. So just to be clear,
I have no idea.
Right?
It's Shohei Ohtani. How many people are in the league?
10.
if you your second pick should be either should be a Diamondback, so either Corbin Burns or Ketel Marte.
Oh my God.
Actually, that's actually not bad because Marte's supposed to go like 8 or 9, and Corbin
True.
Burns is going to have an amazing year in Arizona. So, also
True.
Josh Naylor, sleeper.
I have no idea. Like, I've tried to play it before. I don't know strategies. I don't know who you should and shouldn't take early. I'm no help. I have no idea.
Stopped caring.
If you could recommend one player, though, Matt, just one.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Fantasy wise, I guess, yeah. I mean, if he's going to be healthy, he's going to be playing both stuff.
The pitcher, you go get the kid from Detroit. Actually, no, don't get the kid from Detroit. I think he might.
No,
I want to see
Skeens.
Yeah, him and Skeens. Trade for them. Do not waste a high pick on them. There's too much hype on them. Go get guys. Go get guys like Burns, like Glasnow. Get guys who are consistent and are like go to get guys who always put up good numbers. That's what you do in fantasy baseball. Because the biggest problem is guys will waste a pick on a guy who had their first big year. Look at my boy Gino Suarez. He had an amazing year in I think it was Cincinnati in 2020 or 2021. Fell off for 3 years, then bounces back in Arizona. Hits 35 jacks. But it's a very, very like you got to be smart, especially in fantasy baseball drafting. That's my advice.
Put it this way: the last time I played fantasy baseball, Christian Yelich was the projected first overall pick in all the leagues.
Oh, so I picked Paul Goldschmidt, first baseman for the Diamondbacks at 4. So this I think was 2016. McCutchen was the second overall pick.
Yeah, it's been a while. Shohei wasn't in the league when last time I played.
Daily fantasy baseball, I mess with, not weekly. There's too much day-to-day stuff. I'm down, but all right. So Nate, appreciate you, dog. We'll keep popping in. Just give me a little thumbs up, and I'll give you an intro. We're gonna try to do something a little more official when you pop in. Unless Thursday shows, we like the random pop-ins on the shows this way because people in the audience who are listening, they don't know like where Nate go for 20 minutes. It's kind of like I'll kind of say, hey, Nate, what you got? Or I'll give some. It was a very interesting comment I got from somebody on one of our shows. They're like, hey, audio, who's talking? It's because it's not Matt or Jared. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. They're joining the show late. They don't know it's the producer, Nate, talking in the background. It's great. It's like a very constructive comment. I appreciate that. But yeah, Nate, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
You got it.
So, Matt, we'll start with Mr. Lane Johnson of the World Effing Champs. I love this hoodie so much. Also, really comfy, by the way. Like, I don't want to take this thing off. Anyway, so extra $30 million of guaranteed money. It's a 1-year extension, so now he's under contract through 2027, which will probably be his last year. Hall of Fame career already, 2 Super Bowl championships, couple All-Pros, about a dozen Pro Bowls. He's the best right tackle I've ever seen play football. So, yeah. But I'm very happy about this. The Eagles continue to make their good, long-standing guys stay. Also, it restructures his cap money, so I think it clears up like a couple of million in cap space for us. But that was very nice. Lane Johnson, best right tackle in the league still?
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer. I mean, I would say he's one of the best tackles overall in the league, and probably
it's him and Sewell, and then it's like 40 feet of crap.
Well, right? I'm saying he's the. I think, in my opinion, I think he's the best right tackle in the league, and then as a tackle position as a whole, on left and right, he's also one of the best in the league. So it was a no-brainer, I think, to lock him up for another year. Mm-hmm. He's still playing at a high level. He's still one of the best tackles, and like I said, the right tackle in the league. It just makes sense. He's an older guy, but he's going to finish his career out in Philly where he should. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame when his time comes. Yeah, I think, like I said, it was a no-brainer. I mean, it gives Philly flexibility to go find maybe another tackle in a year or two, let him learn under him for a season or so, kind of like how Cam Jurgens learned under Kelsey for that year or two.
Yeah.
So it's great. He's going to be with Philly for another 3 seasons. He's going to be a mentor to the next guy up. Great move.
I love it. I really do. And you know what? He's doing the opposite of what Jason Peters did. Peters kept trying to play and was like average to bad for 3 different teams. I'm very proud of Peters now, though. He is now the veteran, like someone like with like veteran leadership for Seattle, which I love that position for him because he's a good dude. It's just I wish he just retires as an Eagle, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to keep playing, and I credit to him. I mean, he still had juice in the tank. It's just he was not that high-level player that he was, in his last handful of years compared to maybe when he was in his mid-30s. But, yeah, no, he's another guy. It would have been great to see him go out as a one-time Eagle his whole career. But, hey, man, like Aaron Rodgers. He wants to play, and he'll play for anybody.
That's also funny. So, I cannot wait for all that happening with all the quarterbacks because I feel like we're gonna get like Dark Side Nate if it's like for whatever happens with the Giants quarterback situation. I still want Russ to go to New York. Nate, you got something?
Nope.
No cursing.
It's just why are we waiting for some old butt to make his darn decision?
You can say ass is not that.
We have a guy. A guy went to visit us, and we kept him in the facility the whole day. I even texted the group chat saying, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna get Russ," and he left without a contract. And now tomorrow we're bringing in Winston for a visit.
Oh my God! Please, no. Listen, no. I want JMO signing with the Steelers. Okay, JMO, who is chaos incarnate, chucking nukes to DK and Pickens. They're gonna beat everyone by 40 or lose by 3 on 5 interceptions. I want the chaos of that offense. Are you kidding me? No,
you know what's crazy is Green Bay warned as in the fans of Green Bay warned Jets fans about Aaron Rodgers and his antics, and we were like, we don't care. We haven't had a quarterback in 50 years. We don't care. We don't give a crap what he wants, how long he's going to take. We're going to let him do his thing. He's coming to us. Then we see it happen, and now we're like, all right, we're good. We're moving on. And now I see him doing it to you and the Steelers and I think the Vikings were more doing it to him, but he's now doing it to the Steelers and the Giants, and I'm like, wow, Green Bay fans are right. They were 100% right about this guy's antics, and now I'm watching you go through it, and I'm like, poor soul. Poor guy. But some interesting news that I heard earlier today. I heard this through the radio. Apparently, Tom Pelissero said I believe he said something along the lines of the Vikings took their hat out of the Rodgers race, and I think they're now leaning towards J.J. McCarthy being the starter for 2025. Nate, if you want to look up Tom Pelissero, see if he's got that. But because I just want to be correct on this, but I'm pretty sure he said something about I think they're going to bypass Rodgers and they're going to look to possibly endorse J.J. McCarthy, which if that's true, it's now down to the Steelers and the Giants, and that's completely up to Rodgers. So now we have to see how long it'll take for him to actually make his decision, because they were saying the holdup was that he wanted Minnesota, but he needed to know if Minnesota wanted him.
Well, now you know, Ron. The whole situation is this is what I knew this was going to happen. The second you guys let Rodgers go, I was like, okay, this is how it's going to happen. Okay. So we're basically not going to hear back about Rodgers until June. Like, Matt, I'll be outside doing my weekly, like, cigar smoking bit, and we'll be shooting the crap. And you'll be like, oh yeah. So, Rodgers signed with the Steelers today.
Yeah. And poor Nate's team's going to go out and get Ian Book. That's what they're going to be left with. They're going to steal. By that time,
evil smile, and he's like, "Oh no!"
By that time, Joe Flacco is going to go somewhere extremely random, like Houston. Jameson's going to be with like the Steelers again, or the Steelers or something. I don't know. And Russ is going to go to the Steelers. Jameson's going to go somewhere else. And all of a sudden, they're going to be left with like Sam Ellinger.
I think the Eagles have one of the youngest quarterback rooms now, because I think their oldest player is Hurts, who's 26. McKee's 22 and DTR is 23. Like, that's a young quarterback room.
Yeah.
I can't wait till DTR starts against us one week.
It'll be McKee.
Oh, okay. My fault.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen? We're going to put McKee in for like the last 2 weeks of the season again if Jalen stays healthy. God willing. And he's just going to light 2 teams up. And then during the offseason, he's like, hey, so we got the 6'5" quarterback with a howitzer for an arm, and he's not really afraid of any defenses. Y'all want him? 2nd round, 3rd round pick, maybe? Get more picks? Because Howie's collecting picks like Scrooge McDuck right now. This is great.
I saw something on Twitter, and I almost sent it to you guys, but I didn't want to give you a heart attack. I figured I'd just tell you about it on the show to get your actual reaction, Jared. Somebody was like, what career would you rather have, or who would you rather have? Whose career would you rather have as your quarterback right now? And they were like, Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson. And they were like, Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP versus Lamar Jackson, 2-time NFL MVP. And I'm like, so you're telling me I got to pick between a quarterback that's got 2 MVPs, probably should have 3, but I also have another guy that's been to 2 Super Bowls, has won one of them, and is also the Super Bowl MVP.
Basically one bullshit holding call from having 2, so yeah.
I will take the guy that has the ring, because that's just going to add to my franchise's legacy. I thought it was a no-brainer. I love Lamar. I think he's an amazing quarterback. He's definitely in the top 5. He's definitely top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Could be even top 3. But it's definitely – I'm definitely taking the man that just Super Bowl ring. I'm taking Jalen Hurts' career right now.
So this is a great one because there's a legitimate argument for Lamar. If you're not like one of those guys who values rings, like Cam Newton said he didn't value the rings, he'd rather have the MVP in the Super Bowl. Cam Newton was one of the best mobile quarterbacks of our generation before this. And so now with Lamar – Lamar's biggest problem is he disappears in the playoffs, or he doesn't disappear. He just makes really dumb decisions in the playoffs. He doesn't disappear because he stands up to the occasion. He's like me playing Madden in like our leagues, man. Like, no throw no window too small, no receiver too covered. We're throwing it. And I think the problem is like you see a guy like Hurts who plays one within the system but excels within the system. So it's not like he's like managing the game. He's like, okay, here's what I'm good at. Here's what our team's good at. How can I be elite and legendary in that system and in that space of what I'm good at? He's not trying to be drop back 50 times and sling it. That's not his game. 30 or less, 200, like 300 yards or less, maybe 50 yards rushing or more, and just play smart football. I mean, and it hits every throw he needs to hit. And by the way, is one of the best deep ball throwers in the league. He's been for 4 seasons now. He's always repeatedly in the top 10 in that stat. He just only does it 3 times a game. So that's like, I think that the case is for Hurts is that, yes, you get the Super Bowl title. Yes, you're an MVP runner-up. Yes, you're a Super Bowl runner-up. Oh, and your team is surrounded by weapons, and you have the best GM in football. Oh, and a very underrated head coach.
You guys signed my one of my pass rushers. He just kept getting hurt too much. Ojulari today.
Well, we were going to talk about that next. My thing about Ojulari is he basically gets to say, "Oh, hey, I have to go in 4 times a drive max. I get to pin my ears." But he has to do one thing. What is it? Vic Fangio's like, "Hey, Aziz, just go kill him." Got it. Just off the edge like a rocket.
Yeah. We had him play. We try to play him a lot over here, so I think maybe the less snaps he has, probably the better for his health's sake. Honestly, a lot of injury riddled seasons for him here.
Now, if we could trade Bryce Huff for draft picks, because Howie is just like he's like Scrooge McDuck with these today. I swear. Didn't we just get another one for Becton too?
Yeah, you got a comp pick. Yep.
So yeah. That's another pick. That's 21 in the next 2 drafts.
Crazy.
I was so upset. I think the Jets only got 1, if I'm not mistaken. I think they only got 1 comp pick, and they lost. They got a lot of people from their team got signed. DJ Reed, Ashton Davis. There was.
I think it's a matter of if they if they tried to sign them. I think it's something with the rules there. Nate, if you want to look that up, why certain teams get comp picks for losing guys, some teams don't.
We just had a lot of free agents walk, and I was surprised that we only had 1 comp pick from it. But I don't know if there's going to be some sort of stipulation to it.
I think it's they have to make an effort to sign them.
Then that makes sense.
I guarantee the Eagles put an offer out for Josh Sweat. They put an offer out for Milton Williams, but they were like, "Listen, this is what we can offer you, but this is the best we got." Either that or it's the reverse where they don't put an offer out. And that's why they got the picks. It's one of those 2, I guarantee it. But I like the Ojulari move because I think they'll get an edge rusher either round 1 or 2. I think they're going to try to handle safety first. I think Starks is who I'd love to get. But if they can't get Starks, maybe they go get an edge rusher like Williams, his teammate. There's one guy we're going to talk about in about 20 minutes. We start doing draft stuff, or 15 minutes or less, whatever. There's a guy in this draft tight end class who I want the Eagles to pick as Dallas Goedert's replacement when either we trade him or let him walk next season. I would really love to see this guy in Eagles green because he's a freak. It's actually not not Warren, by the way. I would love to have Warren, but the problem is he's going in the top 10. I have Matt's Jets taking him.
I wouldn't be upset. Are you thinking of somebody with initials EA?
Sports.
It's in the game.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. When you clock 22 miles an hour game speed on a go route that you caught for a touchdown. Yeah, I'll take you. Okay, my pro con for him is Kyle Pitts with blocking ability. So we'll talk about that in about 15. But we got to talk about Selection Sunday, kids. North Carolina is going dancing. Well, technically not. They still have to win tomorrow against San Diego State. But nothing made me happier than seeing all these Ohio State people, from my girl Annie Agar to Mark Titus to all these guys complaining about how North Carolina shouldn't have been in, how it was criminal, how they're corrupt, and I'm laughing. Because here's the thing. You may get something changed next year with the selection, but it doesn't solve it now. And if it wasn't for a lane violation, which honestly 85% of the time you should not call that if the game's on the line, he did commit the foul, but you don't call that when it literally determines the game. That's a tie game going to overtime for the ACC semifinal. That could have well have knocked out North Carolina from the tournament. And if because they called that, gave UNC the nod over Ohio State, I'll take it. But here's the thing. North Carolina has college stars. RJ Davis is one of the best guards in college basketball. Put him in the tournament. It's got a bigger, but I can't name a single player on Ohio State this year, and I've actually watched more college basketball than I usually do this season. So, because of our boy Subs. By the way, Subi should be back for Thursday. Also, breaking news. We are doing an XFL episode on Thursday. After Subi does his little 20-minute run through, us, Zach Keelman, who is a former Belly Up member and one of the utmost experts of football outside of the NFL, so NFL Europe, or not NFL Europe, sorry, all Canadian Football League, all the other cool football leagues that are run, he's an expert at it. Also a diehard Bears fan. Maybe why he doesn't talk about the NFL as much. Anyway, you may remember him. He was on DJ and Kelsey's draft special with me. Very fun dude. He's a really smart guy, so we'll talk about that. We'll see if my Battlehawks can finally get over the hump this year and win the title. Or Matt's Defenders. Nate, have you picked a team yet for XFL or UFL?
Yes, I have. It's a yellow team.
The Brahmas?
No, it's
the Kraken or the Seattles. Oh wait, no, that's the.
It is the Bahamas. Yes, because they have they have some Giants players on there.
Also, a lot of Eagles players too. My boy Greg Ward.
I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah. Ward, and they have. I'm trying to find this other guy. He was a running back. I think Corbin or something. Sean Corbin. Yeah, he was like a backup to the backup for the Giants. So
I love it. All right. So Nate is a Brahmas guy. I am, of course, Battlehawks. And Nate and Matt is, of course, picking the only team from DC that I don't despise, the Defenders.
Beer Snakes.
I love it.
We have Kellen Mond. Remember that guy?
We have
Wade Phillips is your coach still, maybe?
We have Max Duggan. I'm so hyped to see Max.
Yeah. Max Duggan.
We got Max Duggan might win our quarterback job this year. I am ecstatic. I cannot wait. Hopefully he gets the start. By the way, shout out to my biggest draft miss of a quarterback, Matt Corral. He is the quarterback for the defending champion Michigan Panthers.
He was a sort of good prospect.
Dude, I thought he was going to be that sleeper prospect. I thought he was right. I thought he was right-handed Dak Prescott. I thought he was Dak Prescott. For some reason, I keep thinking Dak's a lefty.
Yeah, I guess who the running back is for the DC Defenders. Lynn Bowden.
Ooh.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, the Miami guy.
Lynn Bowden, Trenton Cannon. Oh, man. Shaq Davis is a receiver. He was a Jets draft pick. That didn't work out.
The Eagles at one point. My favorite player on the DC on the Battlehawks though is one-time Philadelphia Eagle and I believe Iowa State alumni, Hakeem Butler.
Yeah.
He should have got more of a shot.
Apparently, he is like the mega. So from what I witnessed from the highlight reel, he's kind of like the Megatron of the UFL. Like he's kind of turned into that role of like the big play, big receiver who basically is their best weapon. So it'd be cool to see him keep kicking butt. I really wanted him to work out in Philly as like a number 2 to Goddard. It's just they couldn't give him the ball enough. Anyway, moving on, Selection Sunday. We'll talk. Obviously, we'll release our brackets. We'll do some stuff with Subi. He'll grade Subi. You know what we're gonna do, boys? Wednesday night, we're gonna send our brackets to Subi, and he's gonna reveal his grades on Thursday.
He's not gonna like mine.
Oh, I know he won't. Well, I know you have UConn going to the Final Four, so.
I do. I also have Yale upsetting somebody in the first round. Forgot who they play.
I have it's okay. Right now, I haven't finished it yet. I have North Carolina making it all the way to the Elite Eight to take on Michigan State.
I did one through the belly up thing through Slack. I got to see if I can figure out a way to get that graphic or something.
See, my favorite thing is that like I was texting Subi last night after we got in because y'all were in like 4 group chats with me. I was losing my damn mind. I was so amped yesterday. I was like, they can't keep us out. And I said, I'm like, I kind of like our side of the bracket, all beatable teams. I mean, listen, no disrespect to Iowa State, but like, we got a shot there. Ole Miss, good. But like, like they're all winnable games. There's no like Florida's or Bama or Auburn. Like, we don't have to play any of those teams. But I mean, we have Auburn that we'd have to make it to basically the Elite Eight to do that. So I was like, okay, I'm with this. This is great. Like, we got a good bracket. Like, they really kind of gave North Carolina a shot. They still have to play an extra game, but UCLA did it a few years ago. Anybody can do it, really. So it's just a matter of, hey, listen, play the game. And honestly, that UNC team who came back against against Duke and then also was there against Wake Forest in the previous game, if that team shows up for the tournament, they can make a run to at least the Elite Eight, if not the Sweet 16 Elite Eight. I don't think they're beating Auburn, but hell, that'd be cool if they did. I did put $6 down on their odds on Fanatic Sportsbook with a 50% boost. So $7 payout is $1,700 if they win the tournament. If that happens, boys, we're celebrating. But yeah, so that was my Selection Sunday reaction. Obviously, we'll talk about the game, the play-in games tomorrow, Wednesday, with Subi when he gets on Thursday. We'll talk about the opening games we've seen so far. I guarantee somebody's going down before Subi gets on the show. That is always how it goes. What sucks even more is I gotta work that day. I hate when I work the first day of the tournament. It sucks, but what are you gonna do? At least I don't have to work. I have to help a neighbor out, move a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to be back until 4. And I was like, dang it. But you know what? Listen, if I was fully employed right now, I'd probably be I'd be watching the games on my phone on my desk anyway. So, all right, moving on. Ready to talk some draft pick stuff, Matt?
Well, I just read something from Jeff Passan from 43 minutes ago. Ooh. So in 12 hours, Shota Imanaga will throw the first pitch of the 2025 MLB season. Shohei Ohtani in front of a sold-out crowd at the Tokyo Dome. Baseball is back. Cubs and Dodgers. 12 hours from now, we will have MLB 2025 season.
I love the Japanese series so much. I also love how they send the Dodgers out there because they always seem to lose a couple games because of the flyover.
Hey, pretty soon it's going to be like how the NFL always says the Jaguars playing in London every year. They're going to have the Dodgers are going to be playing.
Great, keep taking away their home field advantage. I'm totally with that. My hatred of the LA Dodgers is well documented.
Oh yeah. Oh, my newly.
Did I unplug my own computer? This is really weird right now. All right, I'm like losing my mind right now. All right. Back to it again.
Nate's comment.
Nate, those are for Thursday, not two Monday shows. All right. So, Matt, ready to talk some tight ends?
I'm ready.
Some tackles. These are my favorite positions. Next week, we get edge rushers. I am so excited. Edge rushers is like my favorite position. See, the thing is, I played tackle and I played edge in high school. Listen, I was not any kind of elite athlete. I was average at best. I didn't even start taking the weight room seriously. I went to college because, girls like to jack guys in college, whatever. Anyway, but I know how to evaluate talent in that space. And there's no ridiculous names this year. So we don't have to worry about me mispronouncing guys. Yeah. All right. So kicking it off with tight ends, we're going to go reverse order here today. I feel like mixing it up. My honorable mention is Terrence Ferguson out of Oregon. Ran the fastest tight end 40 time. Plus, my watching his tape, big, fast, pass first offense. He's kind of like a poor man's version of Loveland out of Michigan. like I said, similar build, but an inch shorter. Ability to box out in the red zone, but there's a lot of his game I'm not the biggest fan of. Run blocking was okay. The lack, Oregon tight ends have always been kind of odd to me. They never really produce well in the pros. The one I can only remember, and I might be missing one, I swear I am, is Ed Dixon. Played for the Ravens for like 4 years. But that's the last one I consistently remember being okay. Number 5 is Max Taylor out of is it Max Taylor? Yeah, it's Max Taylor. Mason Taylor, sorry. Got confused with Max Kellerman for a second. Mason Taylor, Jason Taylor's son, out of LSU. First 1,000-yard career tight end at LSU's history. First guy with over 100 receptions. Love it. Here's the kicker. Taylor is a very fluid athlete. I love everything he does once he gets the ball in his hands. The lack of production, according to versus some of the guys in here, it's because LSU's offense was not that great last year. It's not a reflection on him. He's a great run after catch guy, kind of a little smooth. I said like poor man's Pat Freiermuth, or similar to Pat Freiermuth, kind of where I looked at it. He's not the best blocker. He's like a 6 out of 10, 4 out of 10, somewhere in that range. The one thing I don't like, and this is why he's 5 and not 4, is that a lot of his lining up was out wide or in the slot. He was not an inline tight end, which, a lot of NFL teams still use guys namely like a Dallas Goedert, George Kittle. They want their guys to be able to line up and block and pass protect. Even Travis Kelce does line up on the inline a lot. So, number 4 out of the Bowling Green University. I cannot remember this guy's first name. I wrote it down his last name like a dummy. It is Harold Fannin Jr. Harold Fannin Jr. I called him Dallas Goedert with an inch shorter. He's literally what I think he is. The run after catch ability, the ability to catch the ball downfield target. It looks like a Philadelphia Eagles highlight tape when he's catching the ball. I love it. The smaller, only 6'3", 240, but elite route running. He's exceptional after the catch and likes to block. All great things. The one thing that worries me, 6'3" is a little short for a tight end. 2, it's a lot. He did play well against bigger schools, but a lot of the plays he makes where he's breaking 10 tackles and scoring is against like the MAC. That's the one thing that worries me. It's why I put him at 4 behind the 3 guys I have the big 3. Number 3, I'm about to shock a lot of people right now. I have Colston Loveland at 3. A lot of people have him back and forth with Tyler Warren. I do not. My biggest problem with Loveland is, once again, he's a freak athlete. He's definitely the receiving type of tight end. A little slight at only 250 for 6'6". Once again, I said an elite kind of just a receiving tight end, ability to adjust on routes, very similar to the guy I have at 2, where they can just kind of find the soft spot, get the ball, and then make a move. Definitely one of those guys you want just kind of is like Dalton Kincaid is the best way I could put it with his form. He's not going to be one of those guys you put in the inline and block for you, but he's going to be a matchup nightmare for safeties. I like everything this guy does. Antonio Gates was another thing I kind of got a vibe off of. A lot quicker than he looked. Like I'm happy to run the 40 time because it didn't kill his running speed, I guess. But I just the only reason I put number 2 ahead of him is because I just wanted to see more, and I didn't see a lot of him getting away from guys. I saw him going down on first tackle. That was the only thing that really kind of put him behind the guy who's at number 2. Number 2, and this is not even fan bias. This is just what I watched for the last 3 seasons at the University of Miami. That is Elijah Arroyo. He is the player I referred to earlier as the guy who I think would be an elite fit in Philadelphia's system. First thing I noted, he's clocked over 20 miles an hour in game speed multiple times. Tight ends generally aren't that fast. He actually clocked a faster sprint time than anything Tyreek Hill has ran this year, allegedly. So I'd have to go get clarification on that. Nate, if you could check if Elijah Arroyo clocked a faster game speed than Tyreek Hill, I would appreciate it. I think it might have been Xavier Worthy, actually. Either way, it was whoever ran the fastest one. I think it was one of the touchdowns, but 20 miles an hour consistently in game speed. Did not run the 40. I believe it was due to injury, or it was just he didn't want to, whatever. Does not matter to me. 22 reps on the bench. It's fine. I look at him. He's a big wide receiver playing tight end, but he's a wide receiver that likes to block. In Miami's system, they do have a lot of him coming off the line of scrimmage. One of some of the things I don't like, it takes him a couple steps to hit top speed, where a lot of guys can kind of just foot in the ground and go. Likely, like Fannin, Loveland, they're a little quicker on the acceleration. But, dude, loves to block, a lot of raw talent, excellent hands. I've seen him make ridiculous concentration catches because Cam Ward is throwing off his back foot around a defender, and he's got to make an insane catch. The ability to find soft openings in coverage was what blew me away. I could not understand how this guy was able to weave himself between two linebackers, sit down, catch the ball, and go, or turn a seam into a skinny post to get the guy open. I think he's going to be one of these sleeper guys. He's going to go around 3 or 4. I think whoever grabs him is going to have an elite tight end within a year or two, because he's not going to get that high draft pick, so they don't have to worry about paying him. They can let him kind of develop behind a guy like a Goddard or a Kittle or anything else. Yeah, so Arroyo's top speed in a game, which clocked faster than Xavier Worthy, was 21.8 miles an hour. That's insane. At a guy who's 6'5", 250. He's flying at that point. So that's why I had him at 2. It's the freak athleticism. I always like having one freak athleticism tight end in my top 3. Number 1, do we even have to ask this question? It's Tyler Warren. In my comp, I wrote this twice. He's George Kittle with some wiggle. That's what he is. He's got that Kelsey wiggle where he can kind of slip out of tackles and make a guy miss on a route. And he's got the hard-heading, like reckless, like aggressive running style of George Kittle. Can do everything from block, contact, balance, catch after. They used him at halfback. They had him do trick play passes. I literally wrote, is a Swiss Army knife. He can do everything. He is a unilateral weapon, which is why I really hope the Jets get him, especially with a guy like Justin Fields, who does prefer to throw to tight ends occasionally. The jump ball high point ability is just mind-blowing. I think it was the catch against Boise State where he literally goes higher than everyone on the field and then extends his arms another foot to catch this ball. Nobody else is coming down with this. He made Atler look like an elite quarterback sometimes. So I am a fan of Tyler Warren. I don't think it's even close between him and Loveland. As you can see, I put Loveland at 3. He's going to be the next like Sam Laporta elite tight end added to the list. I don't think he's Brock Bowers elite because Brock Bowers does everything right. But he's going to be the new kind of tight end weapon, I guess is the right way to word it.
There you go. I like that list. I had a feeling when you were talking about the future Eagles tight end that you were talking about Elijah Arroyo.
I was blown away by everything that kid did his 3 years in Miami. And I was really sad he's going to the NFL. I really would love to see him come back for one more year, especially with Carson back, who could use all the weapons. I mean, Elijah Lofton's a great tight end too, but I'm happy to see him going, and I'm really hoping Howie finally gets past his anti-Miami stigma and goes and gets a Miami player.
See, this is the year. All right, starting out with my honorable mention, I've got the big man, the big 6'5", 241-pound man out of Texas, Gunnar Helm. He had a 4.84 40-yard dash, very fast, I think, for just very good speed for a tight end. He's got good size. He's got soft hands. He's a capable route runner. And he's got hands and feet. He's got hand size and feet that are desirable for a quarterback to rely on to move the sticks. Light in his feet runner. Can also block if you need him to. Rarely challenged when covered due to the weapons around him in Texas. And I think he's got tight end 2 potential with a little bit of some average body control. He would just be a really good tight end complement to any tight end group right now, even if you got somebody like right in place. I mean, he's just a good dual weapon to have on that offense. I got him as my honorable mention. Archman's going to miss him when he's in the NFL. Number 5, I've got your boy Elijah Arroyo out of Miami. 6'5", 250. he's got a lot of upside and a lot of potential. I know he had some injuries. I believe he had a knee injury that caused him to miss a chunk of the seasons for the last couple of years. Not last year, but I think it was 22 and 23.
22.
But listen, he's confident when he's working in the middle of the defenses. He can adjust routes to help out scrambling quarterbacks. He's played for a blocking, prioritizing head coach. He's secure hands when catching in traffic. I mentioned his injury that missed him a couple of seasons. He's going to need to upgrade in strength and technique. He's average tight end when beating man coverage. Hand placement needs a little bit of work. I think he's a little bit of a tight end project, and I don't really mean project in the sense of
no, he's raw as hell. He's raw as hell.
He's a raw tight end, and he missed, like I said, he missed a decent amount of time in his college career. So I think it's just going to take him. I think he's going to be one of those quarterbacks that's going to take him a year or two to kind of get into the swing of being maybe a tight end one for a team. I actually was thinking if he were to go to a team like I actually had in my notes, if he went to a team like Kansas City or Philly, where he can, or Kansas City or the Niners, he can learn behind Kelsey for a year or so, maybe take over when he's done, learn behind Kittle for a little bit. But I mean, if he goes to a team that's already got an established tight end, even if he was behind Goddard, I mean, I just think that he's going to need some time to work into a primary role as a tight end. But I think he's got a lot of upside and potential.
I think he's kind of this weird kind of tweener. But yeah, go.
Yeah. Number 4, I got my guy Mason Taylor out of LSU, 6'5", 251. He's got NFL Hall of Fame royalty in his veins, son of Jason Taylor. I like that one I sneaked in there. He's got 3 seasons under his belt at tight end. He's a natural mover with above-average athleticism. He plucks throws in coverage with good extension. He's got solid agility and hand quickness. He can also hold his zone and run blocking. So cons, easy tight end for defenders to read. He needs to improve his physicality. He needs to improve his blocking. And I would say he's more of a low-risk, high-reward kind of prospect. You're going to take him in probably middle of the rounds. I don't think he's not going to go 1. He's not going to go 2. You might get him in 4. But I had him. I didn't have his comp as Tyler Conklin. I was just kind of listing him as a guy that's a low risk, high reward because Conklin's a cheap tight end that brings really good upside, and he's a very good catcher and he's a very good runner. He's not the greatest blocker, but he's got a lot of high reward when he gets going. And I think this could be one of those guys where you take a flyer on him. I think it'll pay off for a team. Will he turn out to be a franchise amazing tight end in this league? To be determined. But it's definitely high reward, low risk for a team to take a chance on him in the draft. Number 3, I got your guy out of Bowling Green, Harold Fannin Jr., 6'3", 241. He had a 4.71 40-yarder and 22 reps on the bench. He accelerates to top speed instantly and has the ability to sustain it. He's a scrappy tight end that fights through contact after catch. He's got a solid stiff arm to separate from defenders as well, and he's a competitive runner. Some cons, though. He can be slow to re-accelerate once he slows down. He lacks desirable strength, and his passing consistencies. He possesses inconsistent positioning. I think NFL has a comparison as like Jawan Johnson. I don't know. I just thought of a guy like maybe Evan Ingram who can just kind of speed up at times, but he's just not. He needs to improve on some blocking. Evan Ingram's also has some fumbling issues, but that's besides the point. But I like Harold Fannin out of Bowling Green. Not a lot of times you hear somebody in the top 3 from Bowling Green in a category, so good for him. Number 2, I have Colston Loveland out of Michigan, 6'6", 248. He can run the route tree on defenders at the NFL level. He's got great speed and athleticism to mismatch defenders, great agility to redirect positioning in air to make impossible catches possible. He's a talented runner with good vision as well. Some cons, I think his routes lack speed. He's got a little bit of inefficient footwork. Doesn't always win the contested catches, and he did miss some time in 2024 due to an injury. And I think I saw NFL had his comparison as like a Sam Laporta. I definitely think that he has that potential to be a Sam Laporta-like tight end. Goes into the right system, I think he'd be an immediate impact on a team. And number 1, to nobody's surprise, I think everybody's number 1 should be Tyler Warren out of Penn State. 6'6", 256. He's got everything you want to be the next great tight end in this league. He's got NFL size, athleticism, competitiveness, toughness. You name it, he's got it. I mean, he does, like you said, Swiss Army knife. He does whatever by any means necessary to win. He's an impressive speed and quickness, solid with contested catches. He's got strong hands, and he handles contacts well. Not many cons, but if I could, I guess, find some. There's room for improvement as a base blocker. It can be a little too handsy or grabby when working up to targets, but I do think he's a day 1 starter. NFL had him as a Jeremy Shockey comparison. I was thinking more of a
the way he runs, yes, but his versatility, he's too versatile to be just Shockey.
I thought maybe a New Orleans version of Jimmy Graham before he got traded was my thought on that one. But I think clear as day, Tyler Warren's the number 1 tight end in this draft.
Hi, Nate. You're muted there, bud.
I know. I knew it. I was like, I said something. It didn't go through. But hello.
Okay. So,
yes. So, yeah. I mean, I think we agree on most things. We pretty much have the same players, all three of us. I just wanted to point out Mitchell Evans real quick. I like this guy, Notre Dame guy. No bias to Brian, I promise, but this guy does have starter upside for me. That's why I want to put him as honorable mention. He was a pretty good blocker for the Irish, and he a solid offensive weapon as well. I think he's like one of the leading receivers for the Irish, which is saying something because their passing game was pretty bad this year. But when needed to, he did flourish as a receiver. Thrived in medium to deep passing plays. Has good hands, his size at what he speaks here, 6'5", 258, so good size and everything like that. Great body control. The only thing with him that is the reason why I didn't put him higher on my list is that he does have some significant injury history, including the ACL tear in 2023. And his footwork isn't that great, but with some development, he can be a solid tight end number 1. And is useful in heavy personnel packages. That's what I got from him. But yeah, just wanted to point that out real quick. And then I like Fannin at number 2. You don't become one of the leading receiver / tight end guys last year in college for nothing. And I understand you come from Bowling Green and everything like that, but he was really good last year from a statistical standpoint. So that's all I got for now.
The one thing I will say is, if you didn't say anything about Mitchell Evans or Brian or being a Brian pick, I would have completely said it was just a legit take because he is a good cut prospect.
Okay, I just wanted to, cover the bases.
Okay, that. Matt's top 5 to me is the most like par for the course with a lot of the draft experts. They all kind of have the same top 3. And then Matt just had to swap Elijah Arroyo and Mason Taylor because Miami versus LSU. But other than that, I like Gunnar Helm too. Dude, he's at 6'5", 250. You should be running a lot harder than a 4'8". I'm sorry. That's why I like Ferguson, 4'6". You're getting the same player, but Ferguson played in a pass-first offense and was elite when he got the ball. It was a great player when he got the ball in his hands. I wouldn't say elite, but he's a great tight end. So that was my coin flip there. Ready for tackles and guards, Matt?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, so folks, the little programming note. There's only about 2 or 3 guards that are going to get drafted this year, at least in the rounds that really are viable and are going to get viewed. So we said instead of listing off guards that aren't there, we're not going to talk about, or give you our top 5 tackles, no honorable mentions, but then we will be giving you our 2 best guards. So I believe they're probably the same 2 guards. I have a feeling they're both in the SEC, Matt, if I'm not wrong there.
Should be correct.
All right. We'll get it going. We'll go 5-1. Number 5, I've got Mr. Zabel out of North Dakota State. Go Bison. I love small school blockers. Gray Zabel, by the way. His name is Gray. That's awesome. I love small school tackles. You know why? Because there ain't nothing wrong. Like, the offensive line is the one position that translates perfectly. Does not matter. That and wide receiver. It's like, not wide receiver. That and, edge rusher. It does not matter. Because in the trenches, if you got the size, you got the technique, it does not matter where you played at. Anyway, 6'6", but keeps the pad level low. Tackles will stand up, drive me crazy. And Nate should know half of his tackles do it at the Giants. Shout out to Evan Neal. Anyway, Nate's in the back just giving me the dead eyes right now. Anyway, 6'6", great leverage for a guy that tall, keeps his pad level low. Great at combo blocks. You're going to hear me refer to this a lot in my top 5. Combo blocks are when you basically go from a double team or a kind of a chip to the guy in the next level, or you kind of move your way down the line. Great at picking up the guy at the next level against the secondary. Quick thinking at the line of scrimmage, making adjustments, calling out audibles, recognizing schemes. He's position and versatile, which means he can play right or left. Not sure about the guard play. They really haven't had to put him there yet. Cons, sloppy hand placement, and his arm length, very similar to a guy who's higher up on this list from Matt's favorite college. A little on the shorter side arm length, especially at 6'6", and he struggles with speed rushers. And we're talking NFL speed, not college speed. So, like, they're worried. A lot of people are worried about this. I saw it on tape. A guy like, let's say it like it is, two of the fastest edge rushers in the league, Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith in Philly. They're both known for their speed. Like, they're both ranked record-setting 40 times. How is he going to adjust to a guy who can literally hit full speed at 2 strides? I don't know. But elite blocker at what he is. We're going back in reverse. Number 4, give me Mr. Sim. I keep forgetting these guys' names, and it's kicking me. I literally only wrote down their last names on my notes. So Josh Simmons. Thank you. All right. And of course, the app I'm using to, like, I wrote these guys' names down is taking forever to load. Anyway, Josh Simmons at Ohio State. The reason I knocked him down to 4 and he's not 3 or 2 is because of the knee injury he suffered in October. Offensive lines with senior year knee injuries always give me the heebie-jeebies. It's not anything personal to the kid. I love his lateral quickness for a tackle. He can get side to side like he's a tight end or a running back blocking. It's very impressive. And the pop this kid generates. I wrote stupid pop because I watched him knock a guy back on one of his tapes. Like, straight up double punched him to the chest. And his first step for a guy who's not a freakish runner for a tackle is fast. He's off, I thought, a lot of like a Lane Johnson ability where he is like already in his stance before you're even out of yours. It's very impressive. But like I said, and the other thing I don't like, 25 penalties this year. Over his career, I believe. 25 in one season being said. 25 penalties over his career. That's a lot. It's a lot for one season. It's 25 penalties over a career. So that was the thing that kind of scared me a little about him. Number 3 out of the University of Mizzou, give me Armand Membo. Membo.
Yeah, Membo.
All right. Freak times for his 10-yard and 20-yard splits at 1.63 and a 2.8. So for those who don't understand why that's significant in your 40 time running those, because if you can get to a guy at 10 yards in 1.63 seconds off your stance for pulling, for screen blocking, for getting to the linebackers, getting outside, that kind of straight line, short distance quickness at a tackle is elite. I love that stuff. Like I said, explodes into blocks with his pop, run and pass blocking. That first contact, it's going to hurt. He is one of those guys who's going to beat you up a little bit. Elite body control. Guys this big, they get a little sloppy, moving side to side, doing the kick step, everything else. His ability to have the balance to move and get in and around blockers is great. The raw freak athleticism there. Great adjusting ability against stunts and blitzes, which I thought was kind of cool because a lot of teams will throw you unique. Not everyone's just going to send an edge rusher at you every time. They might throw a twist, maybe some kind of stunt where the tackle drops into the coverage and you got a linebacker come at you full speed. Great ability to stop that. Now we're going to go to the things I don't like. Can be very overly aggressive. The elite pop and the thing he gets after guys, penalties, sometimes can get overran. He leans a little bit too much. A lot of things that can get a little shaky, especially when you want guys to be consistent, especially at a position where consistency is everything with a left tackle. Only 6'3". A lot of teams worry about that height. Just for record, like some of the best tackles in the league are over 6'5", 6'6". Jordan Mailata is 6'8", but he's a freak of nature. Anyway, the blocking technique is very raw. There's a lot of sloppiness to it, where it be hand fighting, footwork. I put it all into one because I was kind of like, let's just condense it. But he's a project. Like Matt said, maybe he sits behind a Lane Johnson for 2 years, then starts. It's kind of like one of those kind of things to me, or an older tackle maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know who's older than Lane Johnson at this point. Number 2, Will Campbell out of LSU. Now, I was looking to shoot a hole through everything Will Campbell did in his film today. Was pleasantly surprised. Wasn't that bad. Mean little bugger when he gets after you. He's big. He's 6'6". Mean little bugger's an expression. But, yeah, 6'6", 319. That's a large gentleman. The arm length, not great, but he compensates for it. One of the best things I saw was vice grip level ability to hold on to guys. I'm like, I mean, that's great unless they get away to holding call, but whatever. We'll cross that bridge later. Elite recovery and footwork, which means he is a quick son of a bitch with getting in and out and keeping his footwork. High football IQ, which I love that in tackles because I'm sorry, if you see a DN stunting in and a cornerback coming on the outside and you go at the end instead of just kicking him to the guard, your quarterback's getting blown up. I love guys who are able to understand the game at a cerebral level. Nasty run blocker. The pass blocking was giving me a little bit of the shakes. I didn't like how sometimes he'd lean on guys. But Maddie, your boy, run blocking, he is a mean son of a bitch when he's blocking. He's the kind of guy my coach in high school would just say, hey, listen, I don't want him in on passing downs, but when we're in goal line, I want him as my blocking tight end. I want him leading the pack because he looked like he wanted to mess dudes up, and it was great to see. Number 1, and this should go to nobody's thing because honestly, I swear to God, he's half the reason that Quinn Ewers didn't die last year. That's Mr. Banks Jr. Or is it
Junior?
Junior, yeah, it was Junior. Okay, sorry, Kelvin Banks Jr. I almost said Jelvin. I don't want to say Kelvin. Anyway, Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. I hate my phone. It sucks today. Next time I'm writing their full names down. I can't do this again. Exceptional at double teams and combo blocking. My team runs a lot of runs the football a lot. If you couldn't tell, we had a 2,000-yard rusher this year. Combo blocking, double teams, getting to the second level is what makes offensive line elite. I don't care about the first level. You're supposed to do that. You're a pro. What you do once you get to the linebackers and the secondary is what makes you elite when it comes to blocking, especially in the run. And he's good at that. A great hand fighter. Now, guys who are great hand fighters at tackle are a pain in the ass for any edge rusher who's not a bull rush guy. So any guy who likes to use their hands, slaps, whatever, a guy who's an elite hand fighter is going to be a thorn in your side all day. Smart against blitzes, schemes, stunts. His football IQ, his ability to call audibles is elite. I swear watching this kid's tape was like a Renaissance film. Because Texas' O-line wasn't that good this year, and he was the one bright spot on it. So, yeah. Also, freakish size and quickness combo, which I know a lot of guys see a guy like Sewell or Johnson. They want that kind of freak. I could honestly see him playing the right tackle for a team. I think he has the ability to do it. I could see a lot of teams using that athleticism to their advantage. His cons, he's a big dude, and one thing that Campbell has, he doesn't, is he leans in his balance issues. He can get off kilter, and with being tackle, you want to have a good base. You want to be able to sink down, stop a guy if you have to, or get underneath him with leverage. His balance can be a little shaky. And very sloppy hand placement. For a guy who's an elite hand fighter, hand placement and run blocking can lead to a lot of holding calls, missed blocks, and sacks. So there it is. Other than that, like he is probably the best tackle prospect. I like Will Campbell. I just think the problem is I just don't like his passing film versus running film. Whereas with Kelvin Banks, I see great in both. That was my thing. So Matt, let's hear your top 5. Oh, we gotta do. Oh no, we want to just do guards. Or do you want to just do them together?
I mean, we could probably end it off with the guards. I think we probably all have the same ones.
Yeah, we got about 15 minutes left, so why not? So all yours, my friend. Who you got for tackles? Who's your 5?
All right. So number 5. So our list is somewhat similar. It's pretty similar. I was iffy on.
Let me guess. You slipped 3 and 4.
No, it's not like that. It's pretty much the exact, except I got a different 5. I got Wyatt Millam at number 5 out of West Virginia. He's 6'6.5", 313 pounds. He had a 5.27 40. Big dude. He's got good size. He's got strong hands, and he plays with heavy contact. He soundly moves with his targets, and he has excellent recognition and has a sturdy anchor against rushers. Some cons: I think he's got average feet quickness, some run blocking inconsistencies, and he does, like Will Campbell, he does have shorter arms as well. Could be somebody that bumps the guard. But just a little prospect that I wanted to highlight at 5. A little different than some rankings, but I liked him as a prospect. I got the same thing at 4. I got Josh Simmons at offensive tackle from Ohio State, 6'5", 317. He's an athletic tackle prospect with good size. He's got experience starting at both tackle spots, consistent moving tackles both inside and out. He can compete against NFL speed and has improved his hand placement on blocks. He's got fast feet and adequate strength as well. But like you mentioned, he did suffer a season-ending knee injury in October. Unknown timetable of recovery to when he's going to return. He's probably going to need about a year to develop. And he's similar to how, kind of like when the Jets drafted Olu Fashanu and had him kind of sit behind Tyron Smith for that half of that year or so before he got hurt. So I could see him being one of those things where he maybe gets drafted behind an aging tackle. Like, just as like an example, if he were to get drafted behind Lane Johnson, he can learn from him from a year or two and take over kind of thing. The reason why, same thing as you, the reason why he's not higher on my list is because of that knee injury as well.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Or maybe sit behind Morgan Moses in New York.
Morgan Moses in New England.
Oh, that's right. Signed. Sit behind Morgan Moses, New England.
Yeah. So my number 3 is the same as yours, as Armand Membao. I was actually toggling back and forth between if I wanted him at 1 or 3, to be completely honest with you. I got him at 3 because a couple things: his size, 6'3", and the fact that I think he's got a lot of young raw talent. I couldn't put him at 1 because I just feel like he's just got so much to learn at the same time, and I think he is like 20% project, 80% ready to go. He's got a 4.9 140 with 31 on the bench reps at 6'3", 332. Great body control and pass sets. He's athletic and agile protector. He's got solid acceleration at the snap. He's got solid quickness against controlling blocks, and he's a prospect who's young, got a lot of young raw talent, and he's got a serious high reward as a tackle prospect. Some cons, though: he can't get beat on his blocks against long edge rushers, and he's got to prove himself against NFL speed. I like him a lot as a prospect. He was linked to the Jets at 7 in some drafts, which I'm not upset about. We do need another tackle. But I think he's top 3. I was toggling back and forth for a little bit until I was hearing what you were saying about him, whether on him at 1 or 3. But I think just due to just his raw talent and his size, I got him at 3 instead of 1. So number 2, lining up right here. I would love to put my guy Will Campbell at 1, but I just think Kelvin Banks, just being a little bit of a bigger size guy, I just think the bigger arm length is just going to have that little bit of an edge on him. But Will Campbell at 6'6", 319 with a 4.9, 840. He's extremely athletic tackle prospect with solid 40 time for a 390-pound guy. He's a solid pro-ready run blocker, and he's got great athleticism and pass protection as well. Aggressive blocker, very aggressive, with solid physicality and strength. Another prospect that could be a candidate to, I think some people were saying that he could be somebody that plays tackle, plays guard because of his short arm length. They were thinking about putting him on the inside rather than the outside. Some cons, like you said: he's got short arm length, he's got some footwork inconsistencies, and he can struggle with inside blocks, sometimes overly aggressive with blocks, like you pointed out, and he can get knocked off balance. So, reason why I got him at 2 and not 1, my number 1 is Kelvin Banks Jr. out of offensive tackle out of Texas, 6'5", 315, 5'16", 40. The one thing I think that also separates him from a lot of other guys, he has 3 years experience with starting. So I just think that experience level, having that 3 years of college experience starting at offensive tackle, can translate well in the NFL rather than a guy that maybe had just had 1 season in college. He's a very experienced prospect. He's got pro-ready level run blocking. He's got solid athleticism for his size, quick feet work, and is very in tune with his blocking in the ground game. I think he's going to be a day 1 starter for any team that drafts him. I think he's going to be the best tackle in this draft. I can see Will Campbell going before them just because of the hype that was put on him before the combine and everything happened, but I think Kelvin Banks, Will Campbell, and Armand Membao are going to be great tackles for anybody that's going to pick within the top 15 or 20. Some cons: pass protection maybe isn't as pro-ready as maybe his run blocking is. Sometimes I think some teams view him maybe as better a guard than tackle, but he needs to improve his hand placement and blocks as well. Not many cons, really. I mean, everybody's going to have cons, but these aren't really crazy ones that I think are going to drive you out of that top 1, 2, or 3 list. So I got Kelvin Banks Jr. as my number 1, and that's my top 5 tackles in this draft.
All right. So I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. Did you have Ratledge and Booker as your 2 guards?
I did. I had Booker at 1. Shout out New Haven.
Shout out.
And I had Tate Ratledge at 2.
Yeah, that's who I had. I like so. We'll kind of read them off together. So for Booker, I had insane power, a very long guard. I also wrote shout out New Haven, Connecticut. Great blocking IQ, and elite pass protector for a guard. My issues were he's inconsistent run blocking, and he loses power at the point of attack. So he'll get you in that first hit, but then he'll lose gas real fast. What'd you have on Booker?
I had him as a 2-year starter with elite physical traits. He has great size and power when overtaking defenders in his blocks. I think he's got an elite length and hand size, and he's got solid upper body power, and is also a patient blocker that plays with good poise and play recognition. Some cons, I thought he was average in pass protection and explosiveness, like you were just mentioning, and I think he's got some average feet and lateral quickness.
All right, Tate was it Ratledge? I think I pronounced it.
Yep.
I put power 9 out of 10. Like he is just like he hits you and it's like a sledgehammer. Great anchor ability. Like he can sit down and you're not getting by him. He literally puts his feet in the ground and said, I literally wrote mean son of a bitch because everything on his blocking scheme. I watched this dude get chucked dudes around like a rag doll. Kind of reminds me of a little Cam Jurgens a little bit, like where he's just like almost assaulting people. It's really funny. Leverage and combo blocks are incredible for guards. The ability to be able to get to the second level after double teaming an edge rusher or a defensive tackle is great. He has to play right guard. That is the thing I saw on tape. He can't really adjust, and then can get overly aggressive, leads to penalties, missed blocks, stuff like that. That was what I had. What'd you have?
Pretty much similar things right there. So I got him as a 3-year starting guard with strong hands. He's got good feet and quickness, good block sustainer due to his big hands, and he's patient when gaining control over linebackers and blocks. And he's got great mentality and toughness. Should be a day 1 starter as at guard. And then same thing. My couple of cons I had was I think he's better on the right side than the left side, like you were mentioning, and he just kind of can be sometimes a little overly physical when he's playing. But I think these are the clear-cut 2 top guards in this draft, and I think they're going to be day 1 starters for whoever drafts them.
Nice. Some other guards to look out for are Miles Frazier out of LSU, Luke Kandra out of Cincinnati, and Dylan Fairchild out of Georgia. Nate. Ooh.
Hello.
Josh.
I like Conley, dude. I don't know if y'all saw his Washington tape, but he is good one.
I like him too, man. There's just like a few things I don't like about his game that are like ticky-tacky. It's why I put in Zabel over him, but
I get you. Yeah, he's an elite pass protector. I like that about him for sure.
Another
6'4",
one,
315. He's a good one.
The other one I liked was I was gonna put as a sleeper. If we were gonna do sleepers was Jonah Salavia out of Arizona.
Ah, yes, he's gonna be a good second round guy to get.
Not only did I love him because I used him in NCAA 25 in my franchise, my dynasty, and he is a mean dude to run block. He's just a great. I think there's a lot of great raw talent there. I just think the problem is Arizona's system didn't help his tape. I think he's gonna be one of those guys who falls to like a Tyler Steen or like one of these like mid-round guys who like ends up being pretty good. He just kind of has to sit for a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
That's great. I love your quick release graphics, by the way. They're great. I love how we all have basically the same top 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say it's O-line is simple. I think today was pretty much simple, right? We had the same players pretty much.
Yeah.
Like vibes were different for O-line.
Edge rushers might end up in a screaming match.
Mm-hmm. Edge, yeah. Abdul Carter.
Well, I mean, everyone's going to say if you don't have Abdul Carter at 1, you're an idiot. But I mean, like, unless he wants to tank his draft stock, come to Philly.
It seems like he's trying to do that. He really wants to go to y'all for real.
Yo, listen, if he falls to 7, you know how he's going to offer somebody like a gallon of draft picks. Just like, hey, listen.
If he goes to 7, that's the Jets. I'll take Bryce Huff and whatever else you want to give me.
Okay. Bryce
He
Huff.
worked. It just,
Bryce Huff will give you one of the 3 tight ends we signed, somebody's kidney, a firstborn child, about 5 draft picks.
Get a lot on the black market for that.
Jesus. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Korner Booth pregame and product podcast. Wow. Korner Booth podcast. We are finished with offensive rankings. We are not doing special teams because kickers and punters, guys, it's a total crapshoot who wins and who doesn't. Remember, the Bucs spent the second round pick on a guy who literally was out of the league in a year and a half. Fun fact. The only kicker drafted that high actually was good was Janikowski. He was a literal freak of nature. Anyway, do edge rushers, I believe, next. I'll have to do the math. We'll either do edge rushers and interior guys like how we did today, or we'll just do edge rushers. We'll figure it out, and we'll do off-ball linebackers next week. Maybe we'll just do off-ball linebackers and D tackles. We'll kind of figure that one, and then we'll defensive backs together. Then it's mock draft day, and then that Thursday is the NFL draft show, which we will be doing the pregame for. So, like, obviously, we'll be there doing the pregame for the draft, and then, of course, whoever's hosting the draft will be the ones we lead right into. Also, look out for Subino. Should be back on Thursday for day one of the NCAA tournament. Appreciate all you guys for stopping by. Shout out to our sponsors, Canadians, promo code BELLYUP20 for 20% off your purchase at checkout. Just picked up a couple tins down in Matt's neck of the woods on Saturday when I was there because I just didn't feel like ordering them. I was like, oh, there's a Puff City right there. Let me just go and grab them. And I'm like, and then also we have Righteous Felon promo code BELLYUP for 15% off your purchase at checkout. This is a sponsor of Nate's Penalty Box and Subi Knows. And, of course, SeatGeek, promo code BELLYUPSports for $20 off your first initial purchase at checkout, first only. We will see you guys on Thursday for the Korner Booth pregame. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I appreciate all of you so much who listen to the show, who help us on the show, who are part of my co-hosting on the crew on the show. And, yeah, I'm old. That's, I guess, the way it is. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. We'll see you guys Thursday. Peace.